Hello dear student. Hello everyone. Today we will talk about a new lesson, which is characteristics of gaseous state, which is Boyle's law. We know well that there are three states of matter: bravo, liquid, solid, and gas. But today we will talk about gaseous state. So there were a scientist, which is Brown, which talked about Brownian motion. So we will talk about Brownian motion. Let's go. First, we will talk about movement of gas molecules. النهارده يا أصدقائي هنتكلم عن الموشن of gas, not liquid or solid. So, the particles of gaseous materials. Again, the particles of gaseous materials move in what? Perfect. Move in random transitional motion. Which is called? Who stated the random motion? Perfect Brownian motion. Or scientist Brown. What he said or what he told us. He told us or he stated that with increasing the temperature of the gas, what will happen? Or what will we watch? Perfect. The energy of movement of particles, perfect, will also increase. But we should confirm that pressure is constant. So we have a relation between temperature and volume. Also we have relation between pressure and volume. So if we talked about pressure and T, so we should consider volume is constant as well. If we considered volume is constant, so the relation will be between pressure and time. As we see, if we exposed gas cavity or gas system to fire, so the temperature will be increased of the system of the gas, and also ايه اللي هيحصل تاني؟ pressure will increase as heat increases. So if we increase the temperature of the system, perfect, the pressure will also increase. I hear someone of you, سامع حد فيكم يا أصدقائي بيقول لي the relation between pressure and time, perfect, is direct. So P is directly proportional to temperature. Perfect. So we stated or confirmed a phenomena as we saw. Then we can say that Brownian motion for atoms, for molecules, that all of them move randomly as they collide with each other. So this collision with each other makes random motion. Bravo. So because they have kinetic energy, so energy will also increase. So we can say that randomly moving atoms, molecules randomly collide. So larger particles, as the particles density or mass increased, so the kinetic energy will also increase. So we can state that, or we stated that larger particles also perform a random motion. From the opposite figure, as we see, atoms and or molecules makes random motion, and also there is higher spaces than that of larger particles. يعني يا أصدقائي لما أقول larger particles, which means smaller random motion, smaller random motion, because the spaces between particles is very small according to or comparable with small particles which move freely. So the random motion will be also found. We will talk about Boyle's law. Let's go. First, as we said before, we are talking about gases and pressure and volume, which is Boyle's law. And this one is the scientist Boyle, which stated the pressure and volume relation. Let's go. Boyle's law. First, Boyle's law states that أصدقائي Boyle's reached or approved or stated that the pressure of gas is, again, the pressure of gas is inversely related to its volume, or as we said before, there is an inverse relation between pressure and volume. Please, when T and N, which is number of moles, are constant, لازم يا أصدقائي pressure inverse with volume لازم T and N يكونوا constant. Second, if volume decreases, so the pressure will increase, as we see from the opposite figure. If we have a volume of 4 liters and pressure of 1 atmosphere, which is atm, so if the volume is decreased to 2 liters or 2 liters, which means P equals 2 atm, so the volume is halved and bravo, pressure is doubled. The volume is halved and pressure is doubled, so pressure increases but volume decreases. So Boyle's law, we can say, how is the pressure applied to gas related to its volume? طبعا يا أصدقائي piston affect with a certain pressure on the gas molecules, and now let's apply pressure volume relation, so we can see or we can deduce the relation will be volume is inversely proportional to applied pressure. So the final law will be B1 V1 should equal P2 V2. برافو يا صديقي. When T and N are constant. When T and N are constant, and also the result from Boyle's experiment, number 1, as pressure increases, volume should decrease. Number 2, as pressure decreases, the inverse, so volume should increase. Number 3, and the last, the volume of a fixed amount of gas varies inversely with the pressure of the gas. Let's show this figure. As we see, we have a certain value of pressure and volume. Now we started with pressure 4 and the volume is V. And now decrease the pressure, we will find the volume became 2V, which is doubled. And also, if we decrease the pressure more and more, we will find that pressure became 4 times. Pressure became 4 times. So we call this graph أصدقائي pressure volume curve. Pressure volume curve. So finally, we can say that Boyle's law stated that at constant temperature, bravo اللي and also number of moles, bravo, the volume of the gas increases as the pressure decreases. So, and also, besides that, the volume of the gas decreases and the pressure is increasing. They are inversely related. So, first we can say the relation is inverse. And also we said before, قلنا قبل كده أصدقائي, P1 V1 equal P2 V2. Someone asked me, what is KPA? K is kilo. صديقي, ال K هي ال conversion kilo. So, kilo Pascal. What is Pascal? We said before that Pascal is the unit of pressure. And L, which is liter, the unit of volume. So, V is inversely with pressure. But now, I will show you how to calculate the unknown, or what are calculations with the Boyle's law. First, guide to using the gas law. Then, step 1, organize the data in a table of initial and final conditions. Step number 2, rearrange the gas law to solve for unknown quantity. And finally, step number 3, substitute value into the gas law equation to solve the unknown. So, now we can see the summary of this part. The volume of gas is inversely proportional to its pressure and directly to its temperature. And the amount of gas, which is bravo N. But, or, as well as, Boyle stated that the volume of a sample of gas is inversely proportional to its pressure. Solved examples on Boyle's law. So, now we will talk about some relations or some solved examples which applied on Boyle's law. In Boyle's law, every time or all time, the product P cross V equals perfect, a constant value, as long as T and N are constant. For example, P1 V1 equals 8 multiplied 2. If we replace 8 with 4 and 2 with 4, the same value, which is 16. As well, if we replace the pressure with 2 and the volume with 8, we'll give the same value, where Boyle's law can be stated as P1 V1 equals P2 V2. And for solving the problems applied on Boyle's law, so if we know P1 equals P2 V2, P1 V1 equals P2 V2, so we can make some algebraic steps. So to solve for V2, we divide both sides by P2 زي ما انتوا شايفين يا أصدقائي. P1 V1 over P2 equals P2 V2 over P2. And finally, V1 multiply P1 divide P2 equals V2. طبعا أنا عارف يا أصدقائي إنكم بتsolve بالكالكوليتر. So why not we know the steps manually to increase your understanding. Solve the example. Complete the following. First, gas molecules move bravo random motion or random transition. Second, the relationship between volume of gas and its pressure at constant temperature is called perfect Boyle's law. Number 3, the random motion of fluid. Fluid is gas or liquids are called, the title of this lesson is perfect Brownian motion. Solid particles move space while liquid particles move space. طبعا يا أصدقائي solid particles move vibration or oscillatory motion while liquid particles move bravo transitional or oscillatory. Number 5, there are space between particles of matter called bravo molecular distances. And finally, if the pressure of a given amount of gas doubles when the temperature is constant, bravo, the volume is halved. تعالوا بينا يا أصدقائي solve example. Here, complete the following blank or the following space by choosing the correct answer. بيقول لي if the volume of gas is 2 liters, so the given is V equals 2. برافو اللي بيقول لي V1 equals 2. برافو. At a pressure of 2 atm, bravo, P1 equals 2. The volume of the gas becomes, bravo. So he asked you about V2, bravo. When the pressure is 1 atm, perfect, P2 equals 1. So what will be the value of V2? And now choose number 1, 1 liter. Choose number 2, 1.5, 3, 2, and choose number 4 is 4. Now, the answer will be 4 by the steps. برافو اللي قال لي P1 V1 equals P2 V2. So, 2 by 2 equals 1 by X, which is unknown. So finally, V equals 4 liters. Then put a tick, which true or false, in front of the following statement. Now, but true or false. Here, the compressibility of gases is great or very large. Again, the compressibility of gases is great. The answer is true. Why? Now we can explain this answer. Because increasing the pressure affects a certain amount of trapped gas. So, compressibility of gas is very large because there are relatively large molecular distance allows for an increase in the closeness of the gas. يعني أصدقائي, as the separation distance or the molecular distance is great, so it makes the compressibility is also great. Next, choose the correct answer from the list. The corresponding figure shows a movable frictionless piston that traps a certain amount of gas inside a cylinder. And now, if the piston is at position 1 and is slowly pulled until it reaches position 2, so with no change in temperature. What's happening or what happened? The density of gas decreases and its pressure decreases. The density of gas decreases and its pressure remains constant. The density of gas increases and its pressure decreases. The final one is the density of gas increases and its pressure is constant. ممكن حد يقول لي يا صديقي هل يا مستر الدنسيتي related للpressure؟ ليه؟ Because the density is inversely with the volume and also V is inversely to pressure. Perfect. سامع حد بيقول لي number 1 يا مستر. برافو. The density of gas decreases and its pressure decreases because all of them is inversely with volume. So as volume increased, pressure and density will decrease. Solve the example. Explanation of the answer. As we said before, the movement of piston from 1 to 2 leads to an increase in the volume. And also we know well, rho is or equals mass per volume. So there is an inverse relation between density and volume. Bravo. So pressure and density are directly proportional. Directly proportional. Next, drag the correct answer. بيقول لي يا أصدقائي the corresponding figure, the opposite figure, expresses a practical experience to achieve the law of. برافو. سامع حد بيقول لي Boyle. تعالوا بينا نشوف اللي تشوز. يا ترى Charles law, general gas law, Boyle's law, or pressure law? برافو. Boyle's law. Explanation of this answer. The experiment shows the relationship between volume of a given amount of gas and its pressure and its height. And the height is or equals volume divide area. So height refers or indicates to, bravo, the volume. The volume. So height is the mirror or the image of volume. And now drag the correct answer or choose the correct answer. Sample of gas of volume V1. Add pressure 2. If its volume reduced to 25% of its original volume, برافو اللي بيقول لي يعني يا مستر reduce to quarter. برافو. With constant pressure. So the pressure will be now يا ترى 2 ATM, 4 ATM, 8 ATM or 16 ATM. برافو اللي بيقول لي يا مستر هنستخدم الايكويشن. يلا بينا. Explanation of the answer. We know well P1V1 equals P2V2. So P1 equals 2 and V1 is V1 equals P2 multiply 2 or 25% of V1. And now we cancel V1 with V1. So using your calculator, P2 will become 4 times the initial value. And the initial value equals 2. So 4 multiplied 2 equals 8. Another example. The opposite figure shows 2 gas reservoirs as shown, connected by a tube of negligible size, which has a value, one of which is vacuum, and the size is 2V1, and the other contains 1V1 if the valve is opened slowly with temperature constant. يعني هنتكلم عن Boyle's law. The pressure of the trapped gas will be طبعا يا أصدقائي هتبقى less than a third. يا مستر عايزين الستبس. Let's go. Explanation of this answer. As P1V1 equals P2V2, so P1V1 equals P2 multiply 3V1. Why? Because the closed side between V1 and V2 was open. So V1 is plus with V2. So B2 will be 1/3 B1, 1/3 P1. Please be concentrated. Please concentrate. Give me your brain to concentrate and understand. The next one, choose the correct answer. The corresponding figure, the opposite figure, shows a capillary tube of regular cross-section, right? Regular cross-section area or uniform cross-section in which the thread of mercury traps a quantity of air. If you know that the atmospheric pressure is 76 centimeter Hg, which is the unit of pressure, and assuming temperature is constant, so the length of the column of air trapped when the tube is placed horizontally is equal to first 13.53, 2 17.55, 3 14.97, and 4 18.65. برافو اللي حسبها. 14.97. جت منين دي يا مستر؟ Let's go for explanation of it. First, P1 V1 equals P2 V2. So first, 12.5 multiply. Bravo. 76 plus 15 equals 76 multiply L. So using your calculator, the value of L equals bravo 14.97. Next, choose the correct answer. If the atmospheric pressure is equal to the pressure of column of water of height h, and the air pressure inside a balloon is equal to atmospheric pressure, then the depth to which the balloon will sink under the surface of water until the volume of air inside it becomes 1/3. So we have V1 and V2. Its original volume is يا ترى 4H, 3H, 2H or 1. برافو اللي بيقول answer 3 لأنه حسبها من الإيكويشن بتاعتنا. P1 V1 equals P2 V2. So first P1 is H, V1 is V1, and P2 becomes 1/3, or the volume becomes 1/3. So the value of P2 will be 3. The final one, list the precautions that should be available in Boyle's law. So what was the precautions in Boyle's law experiment? First, number 1, tube A shall be regular or should be regular of cross-section or uniform. So the length of column of trapped air is a measure of volume of trapped air. Number 2, that the tab of tube A was tightly closed during the experiment. Why we close tightly the tube A? Because the mass of the trapped gas should be not change or doesn't change during the experiment. And finally, number 3, the temperature must be أصدقائي must be constant through the experiment. وبكده يا أصدقائي نكون خلصنا الليسون بتاعنا. I hope so you understand. Thank you for all and goodbye.
فهمت الدرس؟ ده وقت التطبيق مع تدريبات واختبارات نافس. حمل الآن.